Everyone, just like the first day and for all the days as we're working on this 100-page challenge, I will continue to give you some books to consider. So if you have picked up a book and you're not really enjoying that book yet, or you haven't settled into a book, or even if you're just looking for a list of books to get to next, I'll keep offering you some other book suggestions. So the first two I'll start and do a quick book talk about are called A Monster Calls and Every Day. A Monster Calls, if you're looking at that cover and think it feels kind of like a horror story, it has hints of that. It's more like a tense story. It follows Connor, who is 10, 11 years old. He's young. And there's this monster in his backyard. It kind of haunts him during the night. It haunts him in his dreams. It follows him places. But as we continue reading, we realize that this monster may be there for some fears that Connor is holding onto. His mom has just started going through cancer treatment, and that is causing a lot of stress for Connor. So we get to see this monster and how real it is in Connor's life, and then the struggles that he's dealing with alongside of that. The other book, Every Day, has a very different feel. It follows our main character, who I think doesn't get a name for most of the story. They're essentially just like a mind that goes from body to body. So the story is called Every Day because every day this person wakes up in a new body, which sounds as crazy as it is. But as you're reading each chapter, it'll move forward days, move back days. They're kind of counting through the days. But this person will wake up in different bodies and have to kind of orient themselves to that person's life, and they're only there for one day. As the story goes on, you and the character both start to realize that these bodies that they're ending up in are kind of revolving around some things. There's places, there's people that this character sees again and again, so has to kind of make some connections as to why these people keep showing up and trying to make some sense of this crazy life that they are living. So those are two books to consider: A Monster Calls and Every Day. The third one that I'll actually read some pages from is called The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. So to give some background on this one, Natasha is one of our main characters. We actually see the story from several characters' point of views. But Natasha is living in New York City, but when we get dropped into the story, she is about to be deported back to Jamaica with her family. She does not want to go. Some of her family members do want to go, and we kind of get to see the story of whether or not that's going to happen. And Natasha describes herself as someone who believes in science and facts. And if you are thinking, and she says, I believe in science and facts, not fate. I think we'll see that in one of the chapters. So you may be thinking fate and thinking back to Romeo and Juliet. She's kind of the opposite of that. She is not pro-fate. She is pro-science and facts. So I'll read a little bit of Natasha's story, and this will be the last one that I cover for today. My mom says it's time for me to give up now, and that what I'm doing is futile. She's upset, so her accent is thicker than usual, and every statement is a question. Think it's time for you to give up now, Tasha? Think that what you're doing is futile? She draws out the first syllable of futile for a second too long. My dad doesn't say anything. He's mute with anger or impotence. I'm never sure which. His frown is so deep and so complete that it's hard to imagine his face with another expression. If this were even just a few months ago, I'd be sad to see him like this, but now I don't really care. He's the reason we're all in this mess. Peter, my 9-year-old brother, is the only one of us happy with this turn of events. Right now he's packing his suitcase and playing No Woman, No Cry by Bob Marley. Old school packing music, he called it. Despite the fact that he was born here in America, Peter says he wants to live in Jamaica. He's always been pretty shy and has a hard time making friends. I think he imagines that Jamaica will be a paradise and that somehow things will be better for him there. The four of us are in the living room of our one-bedroom apartment. The living room doubles as a bedroom, and Peter and I share it. It has two small sofa beds we pull out at night, and a bright blue curtain down the middle for privacy. Right now the curtain is pulled aside, so you can see both our halves at once. It's pretty easy to guess which one of us wants to leave, and which one wants to stay. My side still looks lived in. My books are all on my small IKEA shelf. My favorite picture of me and my best friend Bev is still sitting on my desk. We're wearing safety goggles and sexy pouting at the camera in physics lab. The safety goggles were my idea. The sexy pouting was hers. I haven't removed a single item of clothing from my dresser. I haven't even taken down my NASA star map poster. It's huge, actually 8 posters that I taped together, and shows all the major stars, constellations, and sections of the Milky Way visible from the northern hemisphere. It even has instructions on how to find Polaris and navigate your way by stars in case you get lost. The poster tubes I bought for packing it are leaning unopened against the wall. On Peter's side, virtually all the surfaces are bare, most of his possessions already packed away into boxes and suitcases. My mom is right, of course. What I'm doing is futile. Still, I grab my headphones, my physics textbook, and some comics. If I have time to kill, maybe I can finish up my homework and read. Peter shakes his head at me. Why are you bringing that? He asks, meaning the textbook. We're leaving, Tasha. You don't have to turn in homework. Peter has just discovered the power of sarcasm. He uses it every chance he gets. I don't bother responding to him. Just put my headphones on and head for the door. Back soon, I say to my mom. She kisses her teeth and turns away. I remind myself that she's not upset with me. Tasha, is not you me upset with, you know? It's something she says a lot these days. I'm going to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services building in downtown Manhattan to see if someone there can help me. We are undocumented immigrants and we're being deported tonight. Today is my last chance to try to convince someone, or fate, to help me find a way to stay in America. To be clear, I don't believe in fate, but I'm desperate. So I'm going to jump back and actually read back-to-back Natasha chapters. As you can see, they are titled with the person who is speaking. There are different point of view chapters. I'll introduce you to a couple at the end. So there's a couple chapters in between this, but I wanted to give us 2 Natasha chapters. I put my phone, headphones, and backpack into the gray bin before walking through the metal detector. The guard, her name tag says Irene, stops my bin from traveling onto the conveyor belt, as she's done every day. I look up at her and don't smile. She looks down into the bin, flips my phone over, and stares at the case, as she's done every day. The case is the cover art for an album called Nevermind by the band Nirvana. Every day her fingers linger on the baby on the cover, and every day I don't like her touching it. Nirvana's lead singer was Kurt Cobain. His voice, the damage in it, the way it's not at all perfect, the way you can feel everything he's ever felt in it, the way his voice stretches out so thin that you think he's going to break, and then it doesn't, is the only thing that's kept me sane since this nightmare began. His misery is so much more abject than mine. She's taking a long time, and I can't miss this appointment. I consider saying something, but I don't want to make her angry. Probably she hates her job. I don't want to give her a reason to delay me even further. She glances up at me again, but shows no sign that she recognizes me, even though I've been here every day for the last week. To her, I'm just another anonymous face, another applicant, another someone who wants something from America. So I won't read the other perspective chapters, but we have one from Daniel, who's another character who gets introduced. She talks about Irene, the woman who's working at the office she just went to. So we get to see a couple different viewpoints as we go through the story and kind of see a lot of it coming back to Natasha and the struggles that Natasha's having with what's going on with her family. So those are the 3 books for today. A Monster Calls Every Day, and the Sun is also a Star. If you are not sure which book or you're not enjoying your book, feel free to consider all of these, but also this list will remain here in case you need something to read if you finish your book or want to come back to this later.